Hi, my name is Samantha. If you've not been to my channel before, I am 25. I have a son who's a little over 2 and a fiance. And I am 35 weeks pregnant now with our daughter, Arabella. And I've been just documenting some of the stuff that's been going on with the pregnancy. I've been dealing with still the GI issues this week, still trying to figure out what foods are going to be okay with my diet. For those that don't know, I had C. diff, and now I'm dealing with complications after C. diff, where I am still not able to eat a whole lot of different kind of foods, and it's just kind of trial and error of what my stomach is able to keep in without me getting sick. This last weekend, I actually ended up falling on the ice, which was really scary. I fell fairly hard. I hit my knees first and then my belly, so I think that helped a little bit. I was pretty sore for a while afterwards. At first, I didn't call or I didn't go in. I just tried to relax and see if I really needed to go in, if I had any bleeding or anything. For those that don't know, I had placenta previa. It's now a centimeter away, so it's low-lying placenta. So it's a little bit riskier if I were to fall and start bleeding. So we ended up waiting, and then I started getting a ton of contractions, and not just Braxton Hicks contractions, but like actual contractions and pressure and pain. So we did end up calling, and they wanted us to go in, so we did go in. After we went in, it was confirmed that I was contracting. It was also shown that my daughter's heart rate was a lot higher than they wanted it to be. I think it was like 180 beats a minute or something like that. It was close to that. And then I was contracting at first every 2 minutes, and they were very strong contractions. After resting and getting a lot of fluids, the contraction and a lot of monitoring, the contractions ended up going down a little bit in intensity. For the most part, I still had the really intense contractions, but then it was really irregular, and thrown in were some non-intense contractions that I could talk through and laugh through, and everything was fine during those. It was just the really intense ones that were very painful. So we were released after being monitored and just told to take it easy and make sure to up my fluids and come back if the contractions became more regular and more intense. So far, I've still been having contractions, and they're very irregular. I'll not have any for, a short period of the day, and then all of a sudden, for like a couple hours, they're like every 5 minutes. So I don't know really what that's all about. The nurse did say something about an irritable uterus. I have no idea what that means, but she had mentioned something about that when I had gone in for the fall. But luckily, after everybody was monitored, I was fine other than being a little sore. Our daughter was fine. She just had the high heart rate, and after she had the high heart rate, then it did end up dropping, and the contractions, slowed a little bit, so then that was good. Along with the contractions, I'm having a lot of pain and pressure. The baby just feels very low. She just feels like she's pressing really low. I noticed like up higher in my belly is starting to get a little squishier, so I'm able to breathe a little bit better too, which is nice. However, it's making me a little nervous because I feel like she should still be up a little higher at 35 weeks, but we'll see what happens. Just because she's low doesn't mean she's coming anytime soon. I will throw in a belly shot here. You can see if you think that the baby is lower or if that's just in my imagination. You'll probably also be able to see all the stretch marks and all that fun stuff. Okay, this is my belly from the front, my 35-week belly. It's kind of hard to see with the dark clothes. From the side, Oh my goodness, it's huge. And then from the other side, and then with the shirt up front, from the side, from the other side. Yep, that is a giant 35-week belly. I feel like she's lower, maybe a little bit. It's just starting to feel squishier up here, I guess. Like she's not up as high. I don't know. I'm sure she has plenty more room to drop. That was my 35-week belly. For those that don't know, I will probably be having a C-section too, a scheduled C-section because of the placenta issues. So, because it's unsafe right now for me to go into labor, because if I were to go into labor, I would probably bleed a lot. So until the placenta moves up a little bit, then I have to have a C-section. If the placenta moves up at my next scan, then I will be able to try for a VBAC, because our son that we have, he was born via cesarean, like an emergency cesarean section when I was giving birth to him. I feel a lot of stretching still. I still have that weird rash type of a deal, like weird little red bumps on my stomach. They're hard to see. They're like not a bright red, they're a light red bump, and they'll itch. And I don't know. And then along with the red bumpy rash type of deal, I have no idea what that is. I just feel really itchy from stretching. I still have the stretch marks. I feel like they're getting bigger. I'm also very swollen still. I know I had mentioned last week that it felt like I was walking on painful water balloons. That's still the case. Just doing anything, it's painful, and it's probably going to be that way until after birth. I know with my son, I think I was more swollen after I had him than I was when I was pregnant, so I'm kind of expecting that with my daughter as well. I don't know if it's because they pump you so full of fluids. I know I was pumped with fluids when I was in the hospital, trying to give birth to my son. I don't know if it was because I had a C-section that I ended up having a ton of fluids. I guess I really don't remember. I've also been really tired. I'm just exhausted. It's really hard for me to do normal tasks. I'll, make breakfast, get my son fed, get me fed, and after that, I'm just exhausted and need to rest for a while. And then I'll do the dishes, and then I need to rest. And it's just constant, just exhaustion all day. And it's kind of funny because I still have that insane urge to nest and get everything clean and organized, but I'm just so tired on top of it. Speaking of my toddler, it's been a lot harder to care for him in the last week or two, just because he wants to be held a lot and cuddled while I'm holding him standing. He just doesn't, he's been not wanting to sit with me as much unless I'm nursing him. And because of the contraction issues and just getting closer to having the baby, we've been trying to not nurse him. At least not as frequently, and he's been very upset about that. He's been very clingy. He just really, really wants to nurse, and so anytime I try and sit down and rest, all he wants to do is nurse. So the only way he'll really cuddle without nursing is if I'm standing up and holding him, which has been really painful and exhausting. My chest is... I notice my chest is really tight. I don't know if that's anxiety or just the blood, the extra blood from carrying the baby, but my chest has been really tight, and then all of a sudden my heart will pound really fast, really hard. Like I can just feel a really fast heartbeat. I don't know if that's normal or what that is. I was going to talk to my doctor at my next appointment, so I think the next time I see the doctor will be April 1st, so then I can talk to her about that and about the contractions and see if maybe she wants to do an earlier C-section or what we're going to do there. I noticed the baby's movements have started to slow a little bit. She's not moving as often. There are times where I just want to lay down and drink something, and make sure that she's moving, because a few of the times she's really scared me because she hasn't moved for a while. But, eventually she always moves. It's just, I think she's probably running out of space. We are still working on the baby's room. We're working on getting it all cleaned up and putting stuff in there. I've got pretty much everything for her. We're all set for her. We just need to put it in her room. I think I need a few more clothing. Well, I probably just want a few more clothing items. We need some newborn pants that I want to buy, and then I think we're all set on baby stuff. I'm still kind of nervous or scared for the birth or whatever. I think it's because I'm not really sure still what we're doing. If it's gonna try and be a VBAC, if it's gonna be a cesarean, we just don't know because we haven't had the scan yet. But I'm getting more anxious, I guess, for the pregnancy to be over. I think I've just been dealing with so many issues during the pregnancy, and then after the fall I had on the ice, it was just really scary. And I'm very anxious for her to be out. I just feel scared, I guess, to even leave the house sometimes now because I'm afraid of falling. I'm afraid of, getting more sick. I'm just gonna be very excited when she is out. I just feel at this point she is almost safer out versus in. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it for my 35-week update. In the next week or so, we will have the room complete and we will have all the freezer meals done. I've been slowly stocking up on all the food that we'll need for the baby. So that will be really exciting. We're going to be doing a belly cast this weekend, so that's going to be fun. We did a belly cast for our son when I was pregnant with him, so now we're going to do one with our daughter. We should be getting the maternity pictures back anytime, so that'll be fun. I'm excited to see those. But otherwise, that's all. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe, and then you will be notified the next time I post. I think for sure the next thing I'll post will be my 36-week update, and then I might post something in between there, but at least if you're subscribed, then you'll get a notification, and then you'll know. All right, thank you. Bye.